Hi, Tish Hawken here, mindset and life coach, and I help professionals to overcome their mindset challenges and also emotional challenges. Sometimes life can throw us some curveballs which can affect our mindset and our emotions, and this can also then affect our lives, careers and businesses. Now, this short and sweet video series that I've devised is literally that. It's a few minutes each week where I give you guidance, help, advice and tips on how to help yourself when you're struggling with mindset challenges or emotional difficulties. So today's topic is how to raise your standards to improve your mindset. Now, there's a quote that your life is a direct reflection of the standards you hold. And that's quite interesting, isn't it? And so I'm going to ask you a question first. The question is, are you settling for second best in any area of your life, career or business? So I'll leave you to ponder that for a second. Now, it could be that there's a person in your life that is bringing you down. Maybe it's a circumstance that you found yourself in and you're settling for that circumstance. Maybe it's a personal behaviour of yours that just isn't up to standard and that you know it. Or it could be that you just don't value yourself enough. Maybe something's happened that has caused your self-esteem to lower and you're not valuing yourself enough, and therefore the standards that you've got for yourself have lowered. It could be that you're accepting mediocre behaviour from maybe staff members or from colleagues, or a mediocre work ethic from those people. It could be that you're in a relationship that is bringing you down. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean a romantic relationship, but it could be a relationship of any kind that is bringing you down, and you're settling for that relationship because you're maybe a little bit fearful that if you come away from it, what the circumstances may be, they might be negative. It might be that your standards of your work ethic could be improved. Do you know in the back of your mind that actually you could be doing that little bit more? You could be going that extra mile. It could be a little bit superficial. It could be the way that you're treating yourself with maybe purchases. So it could be that you always go for the cheapest purchase. It could be that you're reluctant to treat yourself. Maybe you don't think that you deserve it, or maybe you think others should be treated first and looked after first. So where can you identify that you are settling for second best, or that your standards need to improve and need to rise? I'd like to liken this really to the level of standards to, remember when you were at school and the marks were A, B and C and sometimes below that? Well, a C mark is really just sort of the minimum that somebody could get for a pass, wasn't it? And it's the minimum amount of work they could be doing, a minimum amount of effort, but they know they could just scrape by and they'd feel satisfied with that. But the people who got the B's and the A's and the A stars, they put considerable more effort in, especially up there to the A's and the A stars, considerable more effort, which meant that their outcomes were much better. So they raised their standards, they rose to the challenge. So if you decide to raise your standards in whatever area you choose to, what can that actually give you? Well, the first thing is, and probably the most important, is personal growth, because although we raise our standards to get different outcomes, because that's something else that will give you, the journey, the actual process of beginning to raise your standards, of setting the intention that you want to raise your standards, will take you through a journey of personal growth, because to get to those standards you will need to challenge yourself, and you will be challenged. Self-respect as well. So you will earn more self-respect, not only not only from respect for yourself, but respect from others, because when you raise your standards, and that might mean being more boundaried with people, that might mean raising your standards so you don't accept a particular behaviour, and people will begin to respect you when you raise your standards, and maybe when you learn to say no. It will give you a healthier mindset. So when we raise our standards and we reach those standards, we have a sense of achievement, we feel good, a sense that we've reached our goals, and it will eliminate mediocrity, and it will help you to focus more on your goals when you get to your standards and think, where can I raise the bar again? You will get an improved work ethic if it's to do with work, with raising your standards, and ultimately better outcomes. If you raise your standards on how you treat yourself, well, again, that will make you feel better. You know, if you go for that more quality piece of clothing, if you buy something that you know that you really need and you want and you can afford it, and you treat yourself to it, you'll struggle with a little bit of guilt, because sometimes we do, but at the end of the day, you've treated yourself. You need to be able to enjoy that, to know that you deserve that. Maybe set something like that as a treat, as a reward, after you have raised your standard in another area. Make sure you reward yourself for achieving that. But don't forget, when you start to raise your standards, especially if it's to do with work, especially if it's to do with putting more effort in, maybe working a couple of hours longer, maybe being more focused, remember to keep your balance. That's really important. So know why you're raising your standards, and make sure your why, your reason is strong, but make sure that when you start to put that extra effort in, that your self-care matches the efforts that you're putting in to raise your standards. So make sure you take time to relax. You do the things that help your mind to relax, that keep your mind and body healthy. And that way you won't become burnt out and you won't become overwhelmed either. So I'm going to leave you with a question, and that question is, what standards can you identify right now in your life, career or business that you know you can raise? So what standards in your life, career or business that you know right now you can raise? I'd love to hear from you. Maybe mention it in the comments, and if you don't want to be public about it, then feel free to direct message me. That's all for now. Look out for the next short and sweet episode. Take care.